what maintenance looks like. Because the version of you are when you start is not the version of you are when you're done. And if you aren't able to step in and truly honor the maintenance side of being able to not be stuck in scale anxiety and actually feel safe in this whole mental mindset of being okay to gain weight because you actually need to gain it. I literally have 30 pounds on me in comparison to my lowest weight in college, 30 pounds. And I'm leaner and I'm in, like not like this matters to me, it really doesn't. But for those out there who care about this, I'm in smaller jeans. It doesn't make sense. So that's ultimately that embodiment of that. Like the best way to say it, Gary, is like I didn't create Maintain Lean, it created me.
I mean, those are some real steps people can take. Prep, build, discover, maintain. I mean, this process begins with boot camp. How long does each step in this journey to holistic wellness and self-mastery normally take for people, would you say?
So it's a great question. It's before I answer it on the average, what I really want viewers to hear is that it's individualized and it's really going to depend on your history because that's something that we learn how to honor to then move into the future. That being said, I, on average, 18 months. And this is something that took me over 20 years, right? So the collapse time, yeah.
I appreciate that honesty so people know. I'm just seeing too many. When I research people and decide who I'm going to bring on the show, I don't want somebody coming on telling me they can do this in 3 weeks. We're going to have you down to this in 2 months. Come on. It took a lifetime to get where you're at. And so 18 months, I mean, that's definitely worth your investment. Not only to feel better when you look in the mirror, but know that you're healthier, regardless of what that weight is that you're at. I mean, words from your reviews and the testimonials that I've read online, words like, she helps me make friends with food, helps me stand for my truth, helps me navigate my emotions. I mean, these sound like empowering words from fulfilled individuals. I mean, is this the typical feedback you get? And come on, this has to make you feel great.
Yes, and Gary, it's the typical, it's the average, and what I'm sitting in now on a daily basis is reflections such as, you're my doctor. And or, right, like women who are quite literally looking at me and saying, I didn't have an eating disorder. Like there's no more urge to binge anymore. And that's the truth. Like we label clusters of symptoms, and it wasn't that I was existing in a food problem as a kid. It was much deeper than that. And then when I walked into the diet culture aspect of weight loss, that's what created the eating disorder in college. So Gary, this is something that like it's fulfilling, it's purpose-filled, and I'm supporting my clients in reaching their highest calling. And that to me is just like, it's why I'm here. I made promise to God, and here we are.
That really leads to my last question. Erin, after spending years listening to traditional advice and yet still feeling like a shell of yourself, you now teach that the key to sustainable transformation lies in a profound connection with our bodies and
truly why I'm here.
Totally. Very exciting story. I'm so happy to share this with my viewers out there. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is her website. On the website, you can see all her programs that she has right there, and you can download her free ebook just to get started. I mean, if you are ready to drop the weight struggle, feel safe in your own body, moving past emotional eating, exercising excessively, and you're ready to find real sustainable solutions, I would tell you to reach out today. Once again, Holistic Wellness with Erin Moran. Transform your life and reclaim your birthright of abundance and vitality. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. I'm here with Genius Technology Brokers. Since 2019, they have been your technology advisor, shopping for all your technology services, saving you time and money as your tech broker as well as consultant. I'm here joined with one of the right here at Colorado State University. Your experience is vast with a background at CenturyLink for nearly 2 decades. You've been a principal and senior partner in multiple consultant companies. Share with me a little bit how your passion began for technology.
You know, I started with the phone company out of college, graduated, and maybe 2 months later I started as a temp. And desktop publishing in the proposal team. A month later I was hired as an employee. At the time, all about the technology there, right? Went through some organizational changes there, right? Quest purchased US West, CenturyLink purchased Quest, and I literally grew up through the organization from an analyst to, by the time I left, I helped run the government pricing organization. So I spent a lot of time in quality experience in support of the public sector, right? Yeah. Department of Defense, civilian programs, higher education, state and all the technology required to help facilitate their mission.
Okay.
And it's, you know, along the way, always, I'm kind of a gadget guy, always enjoy kind of all the ways life can be improved through technology. Like you said, after almost 2 decades there, took an opportunity to make a change and started my consulting career. It's been 7 years now. Really, it was 2017 in August. And joined an organization that learned a lot about the business, right? One thing you should know about me, my only real goal is to leave you better than I found you, without regard to whether or not we do business. Because if I do my job right, I'm able to articulate the way that we help companies, right? The business will show up, right? But if I can help in some other way, or I can help brighten a day, or whatever it is, right? That's kind of the mission that I have. It served me well, and you know, I believe so strongly that success is a byproduct of behavior.
Right.
And all these activities that we take on, right, success kind of shows up. It's not this thing you chase or pursue. And I've learned that to be extremely true through my journey. And, you know, applying my experience in technology to the way we help businesses is just part of that, helping leave people better than I found them.
You definitely bring a lot to the table there, experience in the past. And in the old saying, money makes the world go round. For businesses today, technology powers that world. Has technology become the backbone of business, would you say? And it's probably more so now than ever before.
Yeah, I would. And I would say further than that, it's pervasive, right? There is no business in commerce without technology, fundamentally. And so technology is best in business when either you don't notice it at all, or you think, oh my goodness, what a fantastic experience this just was. Whether it was interacting and placing an order, making a payment, accepting information. If you notice it in the good way, that's best, but really transparent is what's important. When you think about all the infrastructure things, right? You think about internet connectivity. Nobody wants to think about their internet connection. Same thing with voice services, right?
I mean, so you're not really thinking about the engine in the car. You know, that's going on in the background. Right. You just know reverse, drive, and that makes it seamless for the consumer out there. There are plenty of tech providers to choose from, I mean, which is obviously great, but can it also be overwhelming for companies who already have so much on their plate when they're out there trying to choose one?
That's right. So let's think about how a company makes a purchase decision for technology. It's usually born out of need. Sometimes it's an emergency. So what happens? Somebody is voluntold to do it. Even if they're a technology professional, it's in addition to their daily activities. And what do? They call an existing provider. They call the phone company. They call the cable company. They ask the Google. They click to chat, whatever it is. But at the end of those interactions is a salesperson, right? Yeah. Salesperson is not bad inherently, right? Make the world go round. But at the same time, they have an agenda. They have a mission. Their goal is to sell you their product, right? So if a client has a need for an orange circle, right, and the service provider has a red oval, they're going to turn that oval every way they can to make it look like a red circle, right?
Interesting. And obviously they have one product to sell. Yeah. They don't have multiple to choose from like yourself. I mean, time is money. And let's face it, researching our tech options can take weeks, maybe even months. In this search, are many companies not even sure what they should be looking for? And is this where your team can help?
Well, that's what happens, right? They have a need. They know they need something. They check. They find a salesperson who tells them what they sell, right? That salesperson takes a vendor capability view of the client. I take a client requirement view of the market, distill those options down to those that fit my clients' needs, and then help consult them through the process, right? I curate that experience, the noise, and I manage that so they don't have salespeople doing salespeople things, right? If you sign by Friday or other tactics that nobody really enjoys, right? And just truly boil down to what is needed by my clients to meet their business need in an optimized fashion, right? I like to talk about saving money. Doesn't always save money, right? You're willing to pay for their service, not market, right? So the market range is 10 to 30%. It's typically percent. Like there's no magic here. It's just logic, right? It's how it plays out.
So speaking of more than just saving money, I mean, when a person does find a service, do sometimes the high costs outweigh the mediocre service that maybe a salesman kind of push them into buying?
Oh, that happens all the time, right? That sales process I talk about, right? Deal gets signed, salesperson, he gone, on to the next deal, sometimes the next company, and then implementation starts. And what happens? Lo and behold, the product's not exactly as advertised, and the customer and the service delivery folks, they all kind of shake their fist at sales, right? And then the great service delivery folks will say, okay, now they'll use that as a galvanizing experience. Now we'll take care of you. Those sales guys did that, but we're going to make the best of it, right? And it's like that could be avoided entirely, right? When you make sure there's a match in requirement to capability and the service provider, two things happen then, right? One, service is much better, not because the service provider is doing a better job, they're doing exactly what they're set out to do.
Absolutely. I mean, I was troubleshooting yesterday with somebody about a problem I was having. I told him, man, you're making your sales guy look bad. I mean, he promised me a lot of stuff here and you guys aren't able to choose from. Is trying to find a good fit for your company's specific needs simply leave many people overwhelmed. I mean, how important is it to know really the needs of the company that you guys are shopping for?
Right, it's critical, right? It's part of the partnership that I have. I'm not here for a transaction. I'm here for a relationship. The role I play with an organization truly is that trusted advisor. Now, that term is used, and I would say overused, in all markets, in all industries. But the way that manifests itself, right, is I have a same color jersey mentality, right? I'm an extension of their organization, but I'm more of a floor. I can do all that legwork and bring and distill those options down to those that truly just fit, right? I'll help them go through what discovery is needed, right? My particular expertise is knowing which experts bring to bear for my client's benefit.
I mean, your team of advisors, they have extensive expertise and deep understanding of the market. Is your research vast to really know the strengths as well as the limitations of probably many providers out there?
That's exactly right. So because of the vast reach we have in the market and the portfolio of vendor partners that we have, we can serve all needs across all verticals, right? That's important because is it a different engagement with a $200 million organization? Sure. Yes, it's a different solution, different subset of vendors, different way we can support them than a small business that's maybe 100 million or 50 million or 2 million or 1 million in revenue, right? Different needs, different subset of service providers that we bring to the table and support.
Was the top of the list, but what about protecting that connection? How important is cybersecurity today?
Well, more than ever, right? I mean, we touch all aspects of technology, but that managed security and connectivity, right? Bad guys are trying to do bad things every minute of every day. And with the use of AI and some other tools that they have, no longer is it this large opportunity. Right. Though we've seen that happen recently with certain airlines and with hotels in Nevada, but there's also the small business now because it's a volume play to them, right? So making sure that all industry and business is secure is core to my mission, lines up with my heritage and how I grew up supporting the government, but it's particularly true for all industry because these are people's livelihoods, right? Failure's not an option in any case, so.
Not only the big guys really protected, the small guys usually aren't.
That's
For
right.
myself, I was surprised 3 months ago I got my entire channel hacked. I was like, why are they looking at a smaller guy like me?
Because they can.
But they did. They got in and they benefited. Business today have multiple touch points where we connect with the world. Our office voice and relevant today's communication needs, is that an area you can help with?
Absolutely. The way we communicate with each other is critical. Right, and it's evolved, and there's a lot more. It's called omni-channel these days. If you think about the call center environment and the way we interact with clients through text and Instagram and things like that. But absolutely, in that scenario, I help clients. I'm in the middle of a deal right now, just trying to help a client optimize, move their call center solution to a new provider up in the cloud, and achieve some additional efficiency.
Today, not only do business stay within four walls, but most of people have personnel out there in the field as well. What about is the mobility of cell phones and tech something that you can help find a solution for?
Nope, that's right. I kind of hunt all the way across technologies. So cell phones, tablets, Internet of Things, connected devices. So not just what you're talking about, distributed work, distributed equipment, right? So think telehealth, think oil and gas, fleet management, all those things. Anything that has a SIM card, or really a SIM card anymore, it's a vSIM or an eSIM, right? But anything that has a SIM card that has data, or any of those phones or tablets, those are all areas we can help. Not just with the big guys that everybody knows, but there's a few other ways to optimize a client's operation that leverages the strengths of the big guys and support that they might lack in their offering.
As I said before, there are many areas that your team can help with. Can help with the IT management, audit compliance, to even expense management. When you add up all these different areas, I would imagine that a company can save a lot of money. Is this something, are your clients pleasantly surprised sometimes?
Yeah, it places where they had a quote, and I talked, a friend refers them, and I talked to them, and they said, well, I got this quote. I said, well, hey, great, let me see what I could do. Same company, same service, quote was 30% lower. Now, why is that? That's because the sales guy he was talking to had a quote he's trying to meet, right? The market was about 30% in that range lower than what he was offering. He was actually a little high, if I'm being honest. Save money all the time, but it's a negotiation of beating everybody up. Into the way that we support things, it's built into the way we interact with the service providers. And by the way, the service providers love me because they know two things are true if I bring them to the table. One, I've already assessed that they're a potential fit for my client, so it's not thrown at the wall to see what sticks like some sales folks will do, right? But two, their competition is also at the table, so they need to be aggressive. So it's built in by process, right? How many times have you heard in any environment, we will not lose on price, right? Well, a lot of companies really mean that because they want a seat at the table to compete for business that is good for them.
So not only the art of negotiation, but the science of the process. The end person is definitely saving there. Not only are workers not in the office like yesteryear, but now can you help find reliable data center solutions in the cloud as well?
Absolutely. It's one of the areas that I support. I call it the compute section. I don't really call it cloud anymore because it takes on much more than that, right? It's certainly the full cloud, public cloud solutions, private cloud solutions, and hybrid, but also a lot of companies actually still like to hug their iron. Sure. And there's co-location and hosting, and a migration really from that is they've made an investment. That investment they need to play out over time. We'll support that, help them find a solution to support that, and then migrate them to the cloud when the time is right.
Excellent. Almost a hybrid if somebody
Absolutely.
wants a little bit of each there.
You'll find, and my clients find, I don't have an agenda. I have a good listening process that I go through to understand their needs, and then we bring the right solution to it.
Excellent. You're not only a technology broker, but you're also a personal consultant really for each one of your clients. How do they get started with you? And most importantly, what is the cost to your clients?
Yeah. So all of my clients, all of my business is grown organically. We don't do advertising, we don't do marketing, right? It is all people in my network that I've supported that have introduced me to people in their network and so on, and colleagues and things like that. So as I meet a client, how they engage with me, it's usually through an introduction of that sort. And I just tell them how I do and what I do. And I explain to them, there's lots of consultants in this space. There's the folks that say, here's your $50,000 scope of work, so I can tell you what you're doing wrong and what you need to fix and how I can fix it for you. And then there's I'm going to save you a boatload of money and I'm going to take just 30% of your savings. You're welcome, right? Well, both those folks are getting paid probably the same way I am through the service provider, right? So the wise men say, have an irresistible offer. Feel like I'm going to apply this expertise, this benefit client at no cost to you, right? So I'm free to my clients because I'm compensated by the service provider, but because I'm not beholden to any one of them, it's very freeing, right? So you remove that barrier to entry, right? You don't have to sign paperwork to do business with me. I can work with all levels of an organization. I can make a procurement person look like a rock star, and I can help a CFO make their budget right. I can help a CIO finish their transformation 18 months ago, right? I can play in all levels of an organization. I'm comfortable communicating and working at each. It's amazing, to coin a phrase, how much you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit, right? I'm not there to make anybody look bad. I'm there to actually make them all look good. I don't come for somebody's job. I'm not the usual consultant that finds a way to make more billable hours. There's no billable hours. I'm here to help solve your need, right? get you set up, optimize your environment, but I'm always there, unlike a sales guy who's gone, along the way. So I expect my service providers to do a fantastic job, and they do. But business happens, sometimes there's hiccups. I expect them to resolve those things. But if they are not on track, I'm always there in parallel. My clients can reach out to me. I've got the bat phone to the leadership of these organizations, and they recognize the need to get involved because unlike their salesperson, who's going to sell their stuff no matter what, if they don't take care of our clients, we stop bringing them to the table. Right? I don't have to use that bat phone very often, but when I do, it's been to great effect.
As a business owner, it's hard for me to beat free.
Yeah, right.
That always gets my attention.
I always say it's my favorite price.
Dean, you are a trusted advisor, and companies use your expertise so that they have the time and resources to focus on their expertise. Is this rewarding work supporting your clients?
Absolutely it is. You know, I kind of wondered, I've spent so much of my career in support of the public sector, the war fighter. And I always kind of wondered in my own mind, that's a lot of hours, a lot of work. How I'd feel if I was doing that for the barbershop or the restaurant or the manufacturer or the consultant. And what I've realized is this is the same in that it's a critical piece of every company's operation. So while when all else fails, we didn't in support of the war fighter, right? I tell my team, we're Rosie the Riveter, right? We get their tech right, right? But in this case, it's the lifeline of the economy. All of these businesses, small and large.
Sure.
And the impact that we have can be so great. So I talk about trying to do good in the world, right? Leave you better than I found you. I just use my expertise to do that. That expertise happens to be around technology.
Consumers benefit, your companies benefit, your clients benefit as well. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website, all the services they provide. I mean, if you're frustrated with finding the right technology provider and you're ready to unlock exclusive access to cutting-edge solutions and really stay ahead of your competition, reach out today for a consultation. I mean, you really have nothing to lose and everything to save and gain. And once again, that is Genius Technology Brokers, your free technology advisors. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in New York City. I'm here with Hugo's Cocktails. Since 2021, with fresh and all-natural ingredients, they've strived to bring the best of the bar right to your home. I am joined here with the president and co-founder, Zach Moore. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Looking forward to it.
We're going to start off a little bit about yourself. I mean, you were formerly educated right down the road from me at the University of Colorado, Denver. You began your journey into bars and beverages over a dozen years ago while serving the public as head bartender, really right there in the Big Apple. Share with us how the idea kind of came about to start Hugo's.
Yeah, so Hugo's, my business partner, Christian, and I, we worked together over a decade ago at this Michelin-starred restaurant in New York called Rouge Tomate. So we were together for 3 years, easily the best person I've ever worked with, just like the continuity that he and I have. So during the pandemic, Christian was in New York. I was actually back in Colorado. So Chris lost his job, started making drinks out of his home to support his wife and his 2 children. And people just started buying them. So companies became interested. They started purchasing them from him. He and I started talking, and it really just became kind of this thing where, do we actually try to make this a legit business?
Great story. Sounds like true entrepreneurs. I mean, you guys basically took a situation and went, looks like the public likes this, let's keep moving. I mean, having worked in some of the best bar programs in New York City, I mean, that qualifies you to explain to our viewers why the premium cocktail craze is increasing in bars across the world, and what is it about a cocktail that makes it probably continue to be so popular?
I first moved here in 2008, and New York was really kind of ahead of the curve in its cocktail bars, cocktail culture in general. For myself personally, like a great, well-crafted cocktail, it's just, perfectly balanced. It, I don't know, kind of like takes you to a place in your head, like who you're with, hanging out with, the flavors. And similar to sort of, like the craft beer movement, here's this, I'm going to have my Bud Light, I'm going to have my Coors Light, whatnot. And then in the 90s, you had this, particularly out of Denver, you had this huge surge of craft breweries, different styles, really made people think, I think, more about beer. And we launched last year. We started working on the idea in 2021. But I think you're going to just see this continual drift and more actual cocktails in cans, something that consumers will become used to. You don't necessarily have the time or the skill to make your own drinks at home, but you want something like delicious. This is really where it's going. I see it going the next 5 years. It's already the fastest growing market in the alcohol beverage space. Yeah, specifically what you call craft cocktails.
We can all picture that cocktail right next to the beach. In our heads, that kind of equates good times, enjoying life. I mean, you took the unfortunate circumstance of the pandemic to start this company. Was learning for some of the greatest talent in the industry foundation for your products, would you say?
The only thing we had confidence, I would say, going into it was that we knew how to make great drinks. Partner and I, we had no idea what we were getting into in terms of launching a business, in terms of branding, in terms of all of the legal loopholes we were going to have to through. But absolutely, we know how to make great drinks. Like the first time I bartended, I was awful. Just truly abysmal. But
Fuji Apple has my taste buds kind of curious. Tell me more about this fresh pressed favorite. How'd that come about?
As in New York, upstate, there's this it's called Red Jacket Orchards. You find their cold pressed Fuji apple juice in most of the bodegas throughout the city. So when we were thinking about our Moscow Mule, I've always loved their juice. So we started fooling around with their juice. In general, apple and ginger go really well together. So this has that refreshing apple up front, and then it cuts that nice gingery beer. And again, just doing our take on it, not trying to do.
That's what makes it enjoyable for the consumer. They love when you take your own take on it. It can be purchased by the case online and even in Hugo's mix pack, which includes the 95 high ranking strawberry basil lemonade. Obviously, these are all favorites you guys are putting together, and you're finding out that the enthusiasts out there are enjoying them as well. I mean, this company was created during a very serious time in our history. Yet you are delivering a product to friends and family back then that you really kind of hoped would lighten that serious mood. Is it still a goal to deliver life lived less seriously?
Yeah, absolutely. When we did this, I think it was partly inspired by the pandemic, partly inspired by my own personal life choices. And I had a cousin once describe me as, you're serious, but you're not serious. And this sort of thing just stuck in my head, particularly coming out of the pandemic. Everyone, I think understandably we see the world differently. And it came to launching this cocktail brand. To me, drinking is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be, ideally it's a great time to lighten up, to be, less serious about yourself, maybe not so judgmental about others. And the serious side of it is kind of us saying, let us take care of the cocktails, and That's the less serious part. Just enjoy yourself, relax, have fun. Hopefully you love the drinks. But drinking should be a fun communal activity. And I think particularly during the pandemic, people were bonding over getting our drinks.
Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website where you can see all the products they provide and see where the states are that you can find these great cocktails. I mean, these are award-winning, fresh, fruit-forward cocktails. They're enjoyed right from the can or over ice, in your home, or wherever life may take you. Once again, that is Hugo's Cocktails. Life lived less seriously. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in New York. I'm here with Impact Presentations. Since 2020, they have provided engaging and dynamic presentation, communication, and training for clients across the nation. I'm joined here with the president, speaker, trainer, Thomas. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me on.
A little bit about yourself. You were a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy in the field of cryptology and intelligence. You retired at the rank of lieutenant commander. You graduated Pepperdine University School of Business with an MBA. I mean, you really have held leadership roles in many investment forums throughout the presenting in front of a large audience really is second nature to you. Tell me a little bit how this passion for teaching others to be comfortable and really impactful in front of others began for you.
Sure. It back to when I had an individual sales territory and I was kind of flowering a bit. I said, look at this, and I could find a process that would lead me into success. And so I looked around the company and I found about two individuals that I really glommed on. I said, this guy is killing it. Number one guy, he's doing multiple millions a year. And I said, I want to find a way to tailor my presentations around his. So I did. I shadowed him for about 2 months. And then after that, I went out into my territory, which was LA. I had about 3 kids around Los Angeles, and I had Hawaii. And he had 5 states. So he was number one with 5 states, and the territory I had was last. It only did $24 million a year when I assumed it. In the space of about 24 months, I had taken the business from 24 million to 351 million, following his process. So I became the number 2 wholesaler out of 125 by just following the process built around presentations. How to build a compelling presentation that would impact the audience, and the calls to action were specific enough that they would drive sales immediately.
Wow. What a story to get you here today. I mean, your primary goal really is to help these sales professionals, speakers, and other individuals gain the attention they really deserve. Can skills for speaking be taught, or do you think that's something you maybe just have?
Oh, no, I think without a doubt it can be taught. I was kind of a timid person in front of audiences, and I would shy away from that, when my time came to be on stage. And I think that's the predominance of people. In fact, most of the people we have coming into my seminars, these 2-day workshops, they're terrified of getting in front of audience. And my feeling is that they're looking at presenting in the wrong paradigm. They're thinking about the old stodgy and stiff presentations, lecture type of format. When you're in a chemistry, class with somebody droning on and on, you just want to just walk out of there and fall asleep. Well, I changed that to the paradigm into having a personal conversation with the audience, whether it's one person or 100 people. You can change that paradigm where you feel a lot more comfortable and at ease when you're talking to someone as you would a best friend. And those people are first day in my seminars or terrified coming up and presenting. The next